будто далека, лови рыба рыбака.
What will happen when, as a result of a biological war, almost the entire human population dies? Women will cry and then create a new and better world. The movie begins in Russia in the year 2140, where women have taken over the planet and turned it into an ultramodern society. They no longer live in crowded cities, but in the countryside, where every family owns a villa. The technology is so modern that an AI housekeeper takes care of everything. They measure their owner's temperature, cook food for them, play shows according to their mood, and even design new clothes for them. Since men are no longer the dominant species, things like hate, violence and wars have been eradicated, and the average life expectancy of women has gone up to 150. Welcome to Movieland. Subscribe for a bit of good luck and enjoy. The protagonist of the movie is Lisa, a 50-year-old woman, who works as a history teacher at a local school. One morning, as she watches the news, a woman is seen protesting about a burning issue. She wants all women to have the right to reproduce naturally with men, and not by artificial insemination. Lisa simply scoffs at the news and gets ready for her day. After a while, she heads towards work, and we are given a brief overview of the society, which is heavily reliant on technology, kindness, and discipline. Food stalls are present near the roads, from which women can enjoy free meals. Video calling can be done with the click of a finger, and there are fines for menial offenses like putting the garbage in the wrong trash can. The penalty for such offenses is the deduction of social points, which is also considered currency in this world. Moreover, if someone is obedient and does their job well, they are given free social points. Shortly after, Lisa arrives at her workplace, which is a futuristic shuttle housing a few students. Wasting no time, she starts the class with a video presentation which talks about the history of mankind. It reveals that since the inception of humanity, men have dominated society. But all it brought was hate and violence. Decades passed by but nothing changed. In fact, the world was plunging into deeper problems, like global warming, the ozone layer depletion, and so on. Then, in the year 2030, a deadly conflict between the United States and North Korea changed everything. Some scientists in Pyongyang developed a virus to destroy all the men in the US military. However, the virus quickly spread to other parts of the world and decimated 99% of the male population. As the video continues, it shows that after the women took over, they slowly started reversing the damages done by men. Global warming began to lessen, pollution levels decreased, and animals started multiplying in number, and overall, the Earth started becoming a better place to live in. At last, the video mentions that the birth of boys that is primates has become extremely rare, and those who grow up are relocated to a dilapidated part of the city, where technology is still primitive. Here, we get to know that the male population is looked upon like apes. They have little intelligence, are filthy, and are always after two things: intercourse and violence. Once the presentation is over, Lisa takes the girls to the edge of the colony, from where they can see the place where men live. After the fall of men, the cities have been turned into slums. Following this, we are taken to a nearby slum, which is the home of a group of primates. With very limited use of technology and etiquette, their lives are very simple. We can even see some females there, probably some rebels who couldn't adapt to the futuristic society. Among the men lives a normal-looking guy named Jera, who is a virgin. All he wants is to get laid, but at the same time, he is very helpful and considerate of others. There is also a masculine brute named Baron, who acts as the leader of the slum. He is sick of the matriarchal society and wants to initiate an uprising. In one of his speeches, he mentions the 100-year history of the slums. Several decades ago, after women took over the world, men were treated as animals and even used as livestock. But one day, Baron's brave grandfather escaped their society and came to the city, where he started building the slums from scratch. He even brought some women with him to reproduce. As everyone listens to the speech with great interest, Lisa arrives there with her students. It turns out that she has brought them on a field trip to see the primates, or in other terms, to see a zoo. As expected, the men are enraged to see themselves treated like animals. After a while, when Lisa and a student named Maria reach a restricted area, Jera approaches them and tries to hide them. In the heat of the moment, he also suddenly kisses Lisa. Taken aback, she quickly blows a whistle and disorients Jera, but also ends up attracting the attention of other men, who arrive at the scene and apprehend the girls. Shortly after, Baron organizes a slapping competition. The one who wins can procreate with the women. Concerned about their well-being, Jera decides to participate, but to his dismay, he is pitted against a giant. Fortunately, when the giant swings his hand violently, Jera ducks down, causing the nearby Baroness to get knocked out. Taking this as the perfect opportunity, the women flee to their shuttle, while Jera rushes to his grandfather's house. In the next scene, a shuttle bus stops at a regular checkpoint to get some batteries. After it starts moving again, surprisingly, Jera comes out from one of the battery barrels. This startles the shuttle owner, Julius, who is also a male. It turns out that Julius is a seed keeper whose only task is to release semen and impregnate women. Seed keepers are the only males who are given the privileges and respect as their female counterparts. Surprisingly, Julius, who has never had a friend outside work, finds Jera interesting and lets him stay. The two chat for a while and Julius even drinks the primate's special booze called moonshine. Unfortunately for him, he gets so drunk that he ends up jumping out of the moving shuttle bus. Now, with Baron's men high on his tail, Jera thinks of a plan. He puts on Julius' spare costume and pretends to be the new seed keeper. A while later, the shuttle reaches a colony named Two Hills and an invisible barrier opens to let the seed keeper in. Nervously, Jera gets down, and a beautiful woman on a bicycle gives him a tour of the city. Along the way, several women greet him with excitement. Lisa is also amongst the crowd, but she doesn't notice Jera. At night, Jera takes an oath by biting the holy apple in front of live TV, promising to reproduce healthy and smart babies. Then, he is taken to his chamber to rest, but being a virgin, Jera asserts that he wants to start working right away. Hence, a worker escorts him inside the reproduction chamber, where a middle-aged obese woman named Berta welcomes Jera, much to his dismay. After this, he is told to be seated, and a pipe is connected to his manhood, which starts milking it profusely. At first, Jera hesitates to go through with the process, but soon, he starts having visions of Lisa, and finally calms down. Surprisingly, on the other hand, Lisa has also not been able to shake Jera off of her mind, and keeps thinking about him all the time. The next morning, Jera is introduced to the reproduction base where seed keepers like him are taken care of by beautiful women. The whole day, the boys are pampered, fed with delicious dishes and massaged to keep them fit and happy. Overwhelmed with all the girls around him, Jera gets aroused and heads to the bathroom to perform a hand relief. However, when he does so, an alarm goes off in the base. It turns out that hand relief is prohibited in the Two Hills colony. To make matters worse, thinking about intercourse is also illegal, and the one who has such feelings is called Homo sapien sexual. Elsewhere, Lisa, and her family, which consists of her mother, Polina, and grandmother, Anya, are at the local court. It turns out that the student from earlier, Maria, told the authorities that she was briefly apprehended by the primates. Hence, she and Lisa are tried by the court to check if they are guilty. Nervous, Lisa opens up to her best friend, Tanya, that she was kissed by a primate. But the latter tells her to be confident as no one is going to know about it. Soon, the trial begins and Maria's mom, Vivian, who happens to be a high-ranking councilwoman in the colony, tries to put all the blame on Lisa. However, Lisa doesn't stay quiet and reveals that they went to the slums at Maria's request. She even goes on to show video footage from her AI, which verifies the claims. With this, Lisa is about to prove her innocence, but just then, her evil best friend, Tanya, rats her out, and tells everyone that she was kissed by a primate. Hearing this, everyone is shocked, and the judge punishes Lisa with 80 hours of community service, while Tanya is rewarded 20